Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mo Watch First Version Live Season 3. I have 4 esteemed panelists to analyze our 15 people for the season, discuss who's sus, who's not, who could be the mole, who's maybe the winner, all the fun stuff. It's not about me, it's about them. Bringing them in, played Subversion Online Season 1 and was my rival and still is to this day, Danny Butler.
Hey, I will keep the rivalry going for the rest of history.
And reality TV alum. I mean, it probably should have started with Amazing Race, robbed, and maybe you'll get a chance to not get robbed by production. And those are my words, not Danny Butler. Let the record reflect. Joining us from Season 1, icon, viewer, fan favorite. I mean, she is the moment. Kari, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing fabulous. Also from Season 1, he won the whole damn thing and was the mole in Subversion Online Season 4. It's Anthony.
What's up, hey?
Where are you now? Are you back in Colorado or are you in Hawaii still?
I am back in Colorado, in
I was going to say, you've been traveling a lot recently. Been everywhere. And finally, from Season 2, he was cracking jokes about himself earlier. I have faith in him. I have faith. It's Mark from Season 2. He's making faces. I have faith in you, Mark. Honestly, this is your moment of redemption right now to get it right this time.
I wouldn't be here for any other reason. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Alrighty. We know the drill. You've met, and if you're watching this video and you have not watched the cast reveal, go watch that first, because we're going to be talking about the people that are in the cast reveals. So it's not going to make a whole ton of sense if you haven't watched that first. Go watch that first. But without further ado, we're going to hop right on in with 3 people, and y'all can talk about any of them. I don't care. Up to y'all. First, we have from left to right, Alex, Emily, and Stephanie.
So only context I have is Emily. I just saw her play as the mole recently in a, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for her as a strategic player, but that is maybe a hot take because I know she's done really well socially in games before, but that's what I know about Emily.
Stephanie is the light of my life. In my phone, she's actually Steph Moley. We played once, and I have to see her annually. It's a requirement. I think that she will do very well. I think that she's learned a lot about the format, and I think that she will surprise people, I think.
Yeah, I guess we can maybe start Stephanie, and then we can just go across the screen. I think my thoughts on Stephanie, I'm excited for her. I think she'll bring I always love sort of the mother figure in these casts, and I think she has a lot of experience playing games, and I hope that helps her. I think if she can find a way to just be suspicious but have allies, I think she'll go really far.
I agree with that. I think Stephanie's going to be really underrated by the other players, not seen as competition, will probably go far. I just don't see a mole in Steph, I gotta say. But a potential late game run, yeah, I see it. I think people are just gonna really underestimate her.
Yeah, this cast as a whole doesn't have a ton of mole experience in the sense of they've played a mole game. Emily and Stephanie are 2 of the few that do have mole experience coming in. Stephanie obviously played with Kari and Michigan Mole, and as Danny has already alluded to, Emily was the mole, spoiler alert, in the most recent season of the Mole Ohio. So, but yeah, any other thoughts on Stephanie? But yeah, she is at least an alum of some series and has some experience.
And then Alex, I guess I'm excited. I know nothing about Alex or what world he comes from. And so I don't know if anybody knows where Alex was found, but we'll see.
No, I'm excited to find out.
Didn't Alex play Ascendant, I think?
He did, yes. Alex is an LRG. He's played Glitch. He played a Traders game up in Ohio. Ascendance. He's played around. He's not brand new to this whole thing, but he is new to them all.
I just rewatched the cast reveal. Well, one, I helped with casting, so I think uniquely have some like insight a little bit into how they presented themselves in their interviews, but I think watching the cast reveal helped a lot more understanding how they wanted to approach it. And I remember Alex said something of like they usually bring out like their personality more in like survivor-esque games, and in this one they felt like they may not need to do that. I'm already a little suspicious of Alex because of already him saying that he wants to present differently, and I wonder if that'll be a good decoy for people that may know them, or if they're actually just setting themselves up to like be prepared to be mole-ish. So they're like someone who I want to talk about already, like as someone that I'm a little suspicious of going into the season.
Can I ask what would be different for Alex if you have experience with Alex already playing LRGs? What would be a different angle?
So I don't know them specifically, but it seemed like they are a big personality that they want to be social and gravitate towards people and bring people in. And I think in the cast reveal they mentioned like maybe playing that down a lot more and being, they said, more authentically themselves almost. So it seemed like they wanted to just like not have to play the social game as much. But I wonder if that's just them preparing themselves mentally to be sabotaging and break a lot of hearts on the way there.
Yeah, Alex is definitely a big personality, and I don't think that that changes. I'm not really sure what he was getting at with "I want to be different than how he truly is in other games," because I feel like we saw a very similar Alex in terms of outgoing, isn't good with most people. Most people just like Alex. If they trust or don't trust him, that's a different story. But most people like Alex and want Alex to stick around, and they want to talk with Alex. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what he was trying to get at in that sentence.
That would be such a smart mole pick, though. Somebody that you don't want to see get eliminated, so you give them all of the information that you might have, but then they can use that against you. So he's on my list.
It works for them though. When I saw Alex's intro, I thought Alex came across really likable. I think out of everyone's introduction, they did come across the most authentic to me. And I really related to Alex's just wanting to play, if that makes any sense. I know that like as the mole, you have a lot of motivation in the game too, to do well and to perform well. But Alex just read as such a player to me. I think they're one of the few people that really talked about their like fandom of the franchise and having watched all the seasons. I just get the sense that Alex really wants to win as a player here. But really authentic, really likable. I hope they use that to their advantage.
Any other final thoughts? I feel like we haven't talked a ton about Emily, but Emily is kind of, I feel kind of the opposite of Alex. I think she's coming in to be a little bit more brash, is being unapologetically herself, which is a little bit more villainous. So Emily is such an interesting cast.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that Emily has already played as the mole. Because watching her introduction, I thought she could be a really good mole. I think she's the one who said that the game starts when players lock eyes or something like that. It's not when you take the quiz, not when you do the challenge or whatever. But she almost made it sound that the game starts really even before they're at their first mission or even whether they see each other. And to me, that just sounds like someone that's already thought of how they want to present themselves before the game has even begun. And so this whole Emily that I saw in the introduction really feels like not in a bad way, but it feels like a character that she's sort of crafted and is playing out as an actress. So I thought maybe, and with all of her strategy of, I'm okay with throwing the pot and sabotaging the missions, and that's totally what I want to do. I just feel like that's a great cover as the mole. Like just own up to it really early on.
She was giving me decoy really strong. I think she wants to come in. She wants to have a good time. She wants to see what all she can piddle around and do and cause a little chaos. And I love that.
Yeah, I think she's going to cause so many problems, and I think she's such a compelling speaker too, and I think her metaphor of like the game begins when they lock eyes, and then just her whole intro was so compelling that I'm like very much rooting for her. I do worry that I could see her also going home early too, if she locks onto the wrong target, if she plays the quiz incorrectly. I could see her being an early decoy, but also an early execution. And I'm really hoping that isn't the case because I would love to see her go deep. And I think she'll hopefully, because I think that's entertaining, cause a lot of problems. And I would love to see that. And I think she has, like, I'm already underestimating her and like how I'm talking about her now, and I think other people will underestimate her. So I really hope she goes far.
I know we kind of started with Stephanie, but any final thoughts on Stephanie? Yeah, definitely. Like, I would agree with the sentiment that underestimated. I mean, she's coming in, she's kind of the motherly figure. She is the oldest person on the cast, which isn't saying much because she's not that old. So I think she comes in and fills that kind of motherly figure, which is just naturally underestimated always in any type of game, social strategy, this type of game. But it's the question of, is she the mole playing this character? I guess like Mark, I mean, I don't know, did you ever find Kim suspicious in your season? I know a few others did, and people distrusted the motherly figure. I'm not sure, were you ever in that boat?
Was that shade, Carl? You know
No.
that I'm out literally because I suspected Kim.
Oh no, girl, you think I remember who people sussed in season 2? I don't remember.
Did I fall for
So
it?
you
Yeah,
did.
I thought it was a great cover. And I woke up one morning and I just thought, wow, I had a revelation. It was Kim. And I went full on with Kim. And that is why I am the quote unquote first boot of Subversion. Whatever. Anyway, it could work for someone. It's, mom
But I
mole.
think with Stephanie, that is an archetype of mole that has done heavy damage in other series that have been out there. She's usually one of the last people that you'll suspect because she's right next to you. She's really nice. She's your friend. So I'm not ruling her out.
As the mole?
Definitely. I think she could absolutely do it. She could do it.
Yeah.
Would she want to do it though? So,
I think she would. I think that she would.
Like, it's a very emotional role to be the mole, and have it's very lonely.
But
too.
if you know you're coming into it as an emotional player, and I say that because I am, why not go ahead and pick that person? Because people would immediately say you're too emotional. They'd never pick you.
Fair enough.
But if you're capable,
I'd love to see the three of these in a escape room together. I'd love to see seeing them lined up like this. I'm like, that'd be great on a road trip together. This looks like some reboot of Modern Family or something. Like mom and dad and their troublesome daughter Emily.
I was gonna say Anthony and Kari have first-hand experience with a very emotional mole. Matt was immensely emotional. Part strategically, part that's just who he is. So never discount an emotional mole. Half of season 1 would beg to differ on ruling out someone just because they are emotional.
Yep.
All right. We'll head over to slide 2. Here's our next 3 candidates up for grabs. My goodness. From left to right, we've got Colby, Julia, and Cooper. Julia has the most mole experience of the 3. She played a one-day game called the Mo New York, where she was the runner-up. And then Colby, Anthony has experience. Colby, they played like a one-night friends drinking mole game, and that was really his only experience coming in. And then Cooper has no mole experience. But floor is now y'all's on these lovely 3 people.
I could just start on Colby. Yeah, I love Colby. I think he's super sweet. I played a drinking mole game with him, and he was so chaotic. Like sabotaged every mission, wanted every exemption, wanted everyone to think he was the mole. I was convinced he was the mole, and then he got eliminated, and I was like shocked. So he played very chaotically, and I hope he brings that same energy to this game. I know it can be different when it feels like there are more stakes to this one than a drinking game. So I'm curious to see how he'll do it. But I do think he's very charismatic and social. And I think that can either be a benefit or it can cause a lot of problems. And so I think he'll have to find a way to balance that. His cast reveal was interesting. I guess other people can talk about that too, what their thoughts of his cast reveal was.
It was pretty chill, but I want to hear about this mole drinking game and what
Right.
challenges he played. But yeah, it's interesting because his interview was low key, I'm just here to have fun but strategic. It wasn't huge personality. And so it's really interesting to hear the way you talk about him is like, okay, maybe isn't that just for the camera once he starts playing the game? That's all going to come out, or is that just because he was playing with friends? So it'll be interesting.
I will say, I do think the Colby that you see in the cast reveal is so different than the Colby that's on site. And maybe it was like nerves and jitters because this is the first thing that you do when you come on site. So pretty much he landed, got to the house, and did this like 45 minutes later. So maybe it was just jitters. But yeah, Colby is so much more outgoing and extroverted than I think what you see there. He was very concise and short with his answers as well, which I think is true to Colby, but I definitely think there was a bit lacking in terms of what you'll see Colby to be.
I'm
Was
interested
Colby-
to see what he does in the first episode.
Was Colby the last one to arrive to the house?
He was not. No, he was one of the last on the first day you could arrive. There were people who came like super late that last day because their flights got delayed. They basically
Colby
got
got
in,
that
after
good lighting in the
midnight.
intro. Colby got that golden hour. You gave him something. It was very different. I thought he had, like-
Stunning.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
he
beautiful.
yeah he had like the 5 p.m., 6 p.m. interview slots. So
Not
the
everyone
sun's
got
kinda,
that. You gave everyone else this like really backlit. They were like blinking, they're squinting the whole time. Colby got that nice, soft glow to him.
The nice Baywatch light.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little like color decay, the natural orange to purples. Anyway, Colby's answers in the intro, like Kari was saying, I'm excited to see how they are in the first episode because the answers came off really super neutral to me. Like there was nothing particularly high or low about them. They felt a little canned, a little bit controlled. So I'm excited to see his personality.
Yeah, I feel like there was like one line in his cast reveal that I remember where he said he's really good at like not telling the whole truth rather than lying, and I think a lot of people also said that, and I can see it being beneficial, but also like I don't know, like I think you got to like straight up lie to people sometimes, and I wonder if he'll do that or not, because I think leaving out the part of the truth isn't necessarily like as beneficial as maybe people always say.
how about Miss Julia right in the center?
She got runner-up in a mole game. It sounds like someone who gets runner-up, like to get to the end of mole games, rather you clock the mole or you're good at spreading out your answers at the beginning to allow space. So I don't think she's necessarily going to be one of the early boots if she has a little bit of an idea of how to play a game. This three also just seems like these are sweet human beings. Like that's the vibe these three are giving.
These three could also be a family, but they actually look related. Aren't they? They're like the other family on the same show or a completely different show entirely. Are they related? Is there like a sibling twist in this?
Certainly
Julia
not.
and Cooper. Okay. Anyway.
I definitely agree with Danny. I think that she's going to be in for a while. But if you've gotten runner-up, then you've played a full mole game. So having that experience and knowing what that pressure is like would be a smart pick for a mole. Because if you know that you've seen her for an entire season of something, you would expect to see her for an entire season, and it wouldn't be suspicious to a viewer if she stuck around. So she's on my list as well.
Yeah. I think she's one of the few people who announced her age, which is 22, if I'm correct, which is a great flex. Good for her. But I don't know many I teach 22-year-olds, and they don't. What struck me is how mature she is in the way she speaks. She has amazing control of her words. I think she's one of the few people who didn't drop a single or ah. She introduced herself so confidently, and then when that whole 22-year-old, like, it's stuck in my head. I just couldn't match the personality with the introduction I was getting, so I became like really suspicious of her. She has really good natural camouflage too. It's like you can put her anywhere, just like she'll just sneak us to the side. But yeah, is she really 22? Is that what I heard?
She is the youngest person on the cast.
Wow.
Well, she sounds the most intelligent. Julia. But younger minds, they're such a threat. They're so fresh in their brain. Good for her.
I feel like what Danny said about how all three of these look very like sweet human beings. I agree, but they also like kind of give me like they're all gonna be evil. Like I like Julia, like just especially Julia. I think is gonna be like evil,
And I love that.
and I'm very excited for it. She's one of my two like winner pick kind of people in my head right now. I mean, she's made it to the end of the mole game. We talked about that, and but I think getting one round further is always really important. I think that's something that's on her mind. Um, and plus, I think her thought process of always questioning herself will help. I do agree, like maybe see through the smoke and mirrors.
Talking about
Yeah.
Cooper though, there's no chance he's the mole. I'm putting it down. There's no chance that Cooper's the mole. A little bit of that with Danny Butler metagame of what the characteristic of the mole is going to be this season, but I can tell you it will not be Cooper.
Why do you think it won't be
I
Cooper?
was gonna say you can't leave it at just that.
I think the mole this season is going to be a woman. I think that they're going to be a little bit older, not as young. I think y'all have a history of like going back and forth with like gender a little bit, and so this season I think you guys are mixing it up, and we're going to get a little bit of a different demographic from Sarah, but or hypothetically spoilers of what were the moles last season, but yeah, Cooper, younger dude, yeah, I'm ruling him out as the mole.
I'm
I
gonna do the
wasn't
same
getting
thing.
mole vibes from him at all, but I think that the way that he speaks, it feels like he would have the potential to really pull together a solid group of people that he can work with. So definitely not on my mole list, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him stick around.
I'm gonna agree with Danny in that I'm gonna rule out Cooper, but not for the same reasons. Probably for like, I'm not even sure if I want to keep this in later, but I think you would. I think the mole has to be rootable. I think people have to root for the mole to do well. I don't think people are rooting for Cooper as a player or as he's very much a villain, and I don't
You
think
got to leave that in.
with Matt, it was like, come on, Matt. With Sarah, it was like, come on, Sarah. With Cooper, I'm like, you asshole.
No, I think the cast will agree with you. Cooper is a villain and does not hide it, so I think leaving that in is perfect because they're going to.
I don't know the
agree.
man, but I'm just saying that, like, if you announce at the end, like, Cooper comes to the door and is like, I'm the mole, I'm just like, fuck you. Okay, when's my flight? I'm getting out of here. I think the mole has to be like a little rootable. I think the Subversion brand speaks to that in some way, but that's just me metaing it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. I also don't really think Cooper's going to be the mole. I also agree with Danny that I think it's probably going to be a woman, and that's what I'm kind of thinking of right now. But we also thought season one that it was like for sure going to start out like with a woman or a person of color, and we had Matt as our mole. So I think expectations can be quote unquote subverted, but I do still think it's going to be like a woman.
I do think Cooper could win, though. I do think Cooper is smart enough to go really far. What I would love to see is Cooper picks like a complete foil to him as an ally. I don't know, someone like Emily, and they're both that villainous, and that would be super entertaining to see.
If they
like,
decoyed together, that would be amazing.
So good.
I think Emily, funny enough, is the one connection Cooper has on this cast.
Perfect.
They did play an org together, so funny enough, you bring up Emily. That is, I think, the one person he knows coming into the game. So it is funny you brought those two up, but love all the insight.
I think Cooper's going to play really hard. I was thinking about like the casting when we were going through casting. I think he was one of the most excited people to play and was wanted to be really involved in like how he wanted to approach the game. So I think he's going to be, I mean, it seems like he's going to be a little chaotic and frustrating to work with, but I think that exuberance will hopefully show, but I think that means he's also not going to be small.
Love it. Alrighty, we'll head to the next slide. Great insight here. Next three from left to right. An iconic slide. Michaela, in the middle is Ian, and on the far right is Steph. Mole experience, Michaela, near none. Ian, none, really. And then Steph is our Craig Schmier Studios representative this season. She played eons ago, like a decade ago, in Craig Schmier's game. So these are your three.
Man,
This is a
Ian-
completely different show.
Take it away, Mark.
I just wrote stunning. That's the only note that I have.
You're talking about all of them? I mean, yes, that's.
Pretty much, yes.
Want to start left to right? Want to just go through it? Michaela, I think. Okay, I wrote some notes here. Michaela does this. Michaela's super charming. Michaela has riz for days. Michaela would just talk in her introduction, and every once in a while, her eye would. I think she's just naturally blinking, but it looks like a wink. And every time she winked, my whole nervous system reset. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever you say. I would want her to be the mole. I don't think she is, but I want her to be the mole because I want to see her go throughout the whole series. That's a
I agree
rootable
with
mole.
that. That is a rootable mole, yes.
I played a game with Michaela, and unfortunately, I think she was first or second boot, but she was immediately who I wanted. The only alliance I made an alliance of 3, and it was like because of how like social, charming, like intentional, and so I'm really interested to see because the mole isn't always necessarily a social game. Sometimes it is. I guess it depends on how you play it, and so I'm really excited to see how she plays it.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I feel like all the social game is going to circle around her or her and like a few other people. And I think that's beneficial to get information, but also dangerous because people who are historically aligned with the mole go home pretty quickly. Like all of Matt's allies and all of Sarah's allies all kind of went home one after the other in each of those seasons. And so I worry for her on if she becomes this social game person, if she recruits the wrong person, she's going to go home quickly.
Yeah. But our middle is my winner pick right there. Like of the whole season, Ian, I think is brilliant. I think he has a really good game awareness and game sense, and it would not surprise me one bit if he wins season 3.
I root for a man from Orlando. You know, I'm a Florida person, so I have to like automatically root for them. So I think he's going to be great. He seems like he's competent quiz taker. So I think if he can get on the right path, he'll be set up pretty well. He's low on my mole suspect list as well. But I think he could win.
I don't
wasn't
think
getting
so.
mole vibes from him, but I feel like the vibe in his interview was giving me he's going to get duped by a decoy. And it's going to be devastating because I feel like he's going to be good TV, but I don't have him in my I expect to see late game list.
I don't think Ian's making it very far. I don't think Ian's the mole, and I don't think they're lasting very long. Ian reminds me a little bit too much of me, and for that reason, it's not a good scenario to be in. Ian also quoted Sandra Diaz-Twine from Survivor. And I know that like the whole reference was to games in general, but that was a weird pull. And also critiquing the quote was also weird. But I think anyone that comes into the mole with the context of Survivor, it's a bit of a disadvantage. It's a whole different beast.
I will say, like 5 years ago, Ian hosted a game all around spreadsheets, and it was all based off spreadsheets he created. And so when I'm thinking through how
So he's a sociopath. Perfect.
these numbers out, it'll be really interesting.
This sounds perfect.
So I'm going to write him down as most detailed note taker.
Sociopath.
I'm going to write down not rootable mole.
That was Cooper. Ian, not rootable player.
Wow.
But if Ian was the mole. Okay, not rootable is not the right word. Ian, I don't think you're gonna make it very far. but
I love the look. We love the little bit of the chest hair peeking
Yes.
out.
You
He
look
was giving
amazing.
it to us. We appreciate that. Yeah.
Aesthetics are there.
I do think like we're looking at a mole candidate though in our third person. I
Oh, yeah.
do think that they just that smile is giving mole energy right now. That's it.
I
Steph
can
also
definitely
really,
see it.
yeah, she also really impressed me with the way she spoke. But differently from Julian, that Steph has a lot of personable qualities to her. She's very charming. Um, I don't know if the Craig Schmier affiliation though is it's like if it's a good thing for her or a bad thing for her. I just can't imagine anyone from a Craig production going very far in this. So but Steph, she seems like she can pull it off.
I
Yeah.
think that if she's a Schmier Studios alumni, she's probably done a little bit of homework and she will make it far. She's on my mole list. I think it would be so clever to pick a Schmier Studios cult for the Subversion cult mole. Because it does, if you want a meta about how you pick the moles, she would be breaking that sort of wheel. So I can see it. And it would depend on if she tells people that she's in that sort of sphere or not, and if they know without her telling them.
I really like Steph. I watched her in BBH too. I think she played. And she was like very fun to root for and watch. And I think the way she played that game. She brings that same energy to Subversion. She'll be like fan favorite, like rooting, very rootable. Like you want to see her go far. I do think if I was a player and like not to read into like just how she presents herself, I think I would be more suspicious of her as we got deeper into the game. I feel like to me, she doesn't come off as like the fastest or the most in tune note taker, and she said it herself too. And I'd be questioning how she does well on every quiz. And for that reason, I kind of have her very low on my mole suspicion list, but high on my favorites. So I would love for her to be the mole because then I'd be like, wow, I would have pulled a mark and gone off her.
It's not pull the mark. That's not a thing. No one's saying that, Anthony. That's not
I hope she'll be our DR queen. I think she'll be fun to hear thoughts on how everything went in a DR. I think she'll give us some good lines and episode titles.
Oh, there's like a good chunk of them that are just unhinged. They get in that confessional booth and they are unhinged and just say what they're thinking and they're feeling, and that's all you can ask for. Yeah, this is a fun slide of characters who are just so much fun on site. Not that the other 6 weren't, so they are too. But just like this 3 is just like charisma for days.
I gotta say that one thing about the meta, I'm looking at the slide now and I'm seeing Michaela and I'm just reminded of how much she reminds me of Sarah. And so now I'm really not sure if Michaela would be the mole, if we're gonna go like off of last year's demographic and optics there. It's the way, it's not like just being a pretty girl. It's not just that. It's the way that Michaela speaks, the phrasing and the pacing. It's very in tune with the way that Sarah spoke to me. And I feel like if we're gonna go on meta, it'd be a little bit on the nose in terms of character. I'm just gonna leave that out there.
No, it's fun hearing you all say this because this is the exact conversation that me, Foser, and Danny DeAngelis have every season, picking them all, being like, what's the meta? Do we go with the meta? Do we go against the grain? Do we just repeat what we did last time? Like, it's always fun having these like meta conversations and trying to figure out what people are going to think on site and then do the opposite. So it's been really fun hearing y'all talk the meta of it all. Let's on the next slide. Let's go candidates 10 through 12. Of course he put these 3 together. For context, from left to right, this is Ben, Sammy, and Liz. These are our Carson Kenor recruits. All 3 of them are friends, real life personal friends of Carson.
Wow.
Mole experience, none for all 3. But yeah, let's talk these 3. They're all new to this whole thing. No org experience, no LRG experience. They're literally brand new. So None of y'all know them.
I just had in my notes, I had one question of how many drugs did he take before he filmed his entrance? Like, what was
None.
going on there? What was the reason?
Anthony can attest because he was part of the casting process. That is Ben Perry to a T. Like, Ben takes no drugs. He is high on life. He is high on just who he is, and that is just Ben.
That was his own idea.
Yeah.
It really told a story.
Who did
It was
you
like,
think the idea?
I'm just wondering if production put it on him. Just be like, Ben, come on, give us something. Like, give us.
Nope.
Well, it told a full story. It was like the evolution of man. He went from full on like monkey ape to Cro-Magnon to human as he entered.
He will be fun to watch. I don't have him high on my list of mole or winner, but I think that the viewers will be very sad when he's eliminated because I think he will be ridiculously fun to watch.
Just the fact that these three are affiliated with Carson, though, I wasn't expecting that, but it kind of makes sense now. Ben, I just don't think. How old is Ben?
He's, I think, in his like older 20s, like 27, 28.
Yeah, I just don't think grown men should be blonde. But anyway, it works for him.
I do think that is his natural. I mean, I do think there's a little bit of dye in there, but this is, like, I think, pretty close to his natural hair color, if I had to guess. I'm not sure if that helps or hurts his case.
Could Ben be the mole? I don't think so. I think he's there just to troll everyone, but not in that professional way. In that very much like, no wonder he's friends with Carson. Okay, anyway, that's my opinion.
Ben for me is so suspicious. I don't know why he's like so suspicious to me. Mainly because I think he's kind of like kooky and fun, but also like has like an undertone of strategy. Kind of mentioning that he would like be the one to bet the whole pot to get the exemption, and if you're not doing that, you're not working hard enough. And I think that I don't know. I'm suspicious of that.
He's like a troll that lives under the bridge, but a troll that I would visit and like bring edibles to, just like kick it under the bridge. Sorry, Danny, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say he looks like he's going to be fun, so which is entertaining. So, but no mole experience can make for, just interesting play style as they're adjusting and trying to figure it out.
Sammy posing with her purse is sending. It's completely.
She's not messing around. Like she's
like,
here.
here.
She's never going to be without her pin. She's good. She's ready to go.
Yeah, she's on task. Amazing skin. Beautiful hair. Okay. Sammy. Oof. Sammy is just naturally suspicious. Sammy has suspicious aura. Maybe it's the way she's looking at me. It's like the Mona Lisa. It's like if I go side to side, she's always looking at me.
Feels like she could be on Gossip Girl, like the front cover.
Yeah.
That's what it's. So
Yeah, she did come in with one of my favorite intro outfits in the whole franchise. Very good look, Sammy. The bag though was hilarious.
I love that she chose to carry it.
Yes.
She was just like, I'm gonna take my bag. And the vibe of that is giving, I'm here to play, I'm not here to mess around. I'm going to be taking notes, I'm going to be diligent. But that's what a mole would want you to think that they're doing. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe she hopped off that plane and got in that car and got there, and that was when the game turned on for her because she was the mole. Like when she locked eyes with the other person, as Emily said earlier. Suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Like, what's in the bag? Is it your journal? Is it a knife? Is it a bag of snakes? What's in there?
And I will say,
hashtag what's in Sammy's bag.
Hashtag what's in Sammy's bag. And she has my favorite action shot in the intro sequence. It's so freaking funny. I think Sammy is one of those people who is like in high school, like the quiet person in class, but like when you like talk to them, they're so fucking funny and so witty and so cutting. Like she just says things in such ways. I'm just like, you're so brilliant and fun. It's just like you have to meet her to get to know her, but like just from appearances, she's super quiet and seems like reserved, but like she's such a joy when you. I'm looking forward to y'all getting to like meet her through the episodes because I think she's a joy. And Carson, thank you for finding her because she's absolutely fabulous.
I'm a medical student, and she is too, I think she said, and so like I feel like I have a lot of classmates who are similarly reserved but also hilarious on the back end, but I also know those people can be like very vicious in like those kind of settings, and I think she's also on my list for mole.
What about Liz? Let's head on over to Liz.
Hey, has Liz played anything?
They just played Subversion Traders like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Oh, Liz
So
looks
that's after the season of
It's
Subversion.
far after, yep.
Huh. Okay.
Liz is so, in her introduction at least, so even keeled. Like, but here's the thing: I didn't even notice. She mentions it later that she's maybe that she is Filipino, and that is a real thing. The Filipino reaction thing of like, I can understand her expressions coming out more in talking to others, but that is a true thing. I can see it in her smile right now. Would she make a great mole? I don't know. She could get away with it for sure, but I think, yeah, no experience at all with any org LRG. That's always a bit of a flag for me.
I have Liz on my suspects list. I'm going to be watching the first few episodes, see what's going on. I am not expecting to see Liz eliminated early. Like, they just come off with the kind of person that has done homework on the series, knows what to look for, knows what to take notes on. So I think late game for sure. But I wouldn't rule them out as mole. Like, I think it would be a smart pick. Somebody that nobody knows that's affiliated with Carson would be a good person to pick, because if you need a little bit of help and tips and things, I think this is a good person to take them.
I think Liz had one of the best strategies I heard in the cast reveals. I liked that they said that they play the numbers, at least in the beginning, and that they try to focus their quizzes on that rather than like they're just full on suspicions. And I think that will probably get you through the first few rounds. And I think I agree that I could see them going pretty deep.
Yep.
They'd be a good mole, just in that they have the opposite effect that Sammy does. They're not naturally suspicious. Like Liz, I don't see Liz and like, oh, I suspect you right away, right off the bat. Whereas Sammy comes in with a person that those eyes, and I'm like, I'm nervous. Liz is really disarming. Yeah, I could see it being a good pick.
Truly, these three just couldn't be more different from each other, which is just so funny that they're all in real life personal friends with Carson Knorr. Truly, just could not.
But they don't know each other.
Different people. Liz and Ben do know each other.
Okay.
They don't know Sammy, but Liz and Ben do know each other. But both actively came into the game not trusting each other. Like they saw each other and were like, hell no. Because they both expected to be the only person there because they're completely new. So seeing someone of a mutual connection was like a surprise for both of them. But they both were like, I got my eyes on you. So their dynamic is really fun to watch as well, just because they come in with no one other than each other. So it shall be fun to see their dynamic as well. Alrighty, let's move to our final three. Wow.
Wow.
Final three. Write that down.
A slide
That's
of
a
divas.
lot of personality in one slide.
A slide of divas. Taylor, Jabbar, and Sterling.
So it's funny. I've known Taylor now for 13 years. And so it is wild. Like, Taylor is so smart. He is like brilliant. He loves the games. I think he has a really good strategy, so he will know how to be a decoy if he needs to be a decoy. He's the host of his own game, so he knows how hosts are going to think. I really think that Taylor could do really well.
I agree. I think the experience is really, really good to have, and like hosting your own series is, you know what the production's going through and you know what to expect if you were running it. So I think that that would help him unless the other players are intimidated by the amount of experience he has and ices him out. So I'm interested to see how he groups up with people. I think he may try to pick up some of the new faces that aren't familiar with him, and how he navigates those people is going to be what makes it suspicious, mole suspicious for me or not.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that Michaela would be like a very social center, and I think these three will also be the rest of the social centers of the game. But I think because they have so much experience, I hope they all fight. Taylor is my sister. Like, love Taylor, and I'm rooting for him so deeply. But as you all said, like he has a lot of prod experience, but I hope he doesn't look at the mole through that lens, because I mean, Subversion tends to pick very out of the box moles, and so I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, I actually don't have any connection with Taylor. I don't know anything about Taylor, but I do remember in the intro, Taylor comes in with a pilgrim hat, and I believe that's in tribute to Shilpa from my season, and that's crazy. So I have instant respect for that. Taylor being the mole to me would be the. Have you seen Alan Carr on Celebrity Traders UK? It'd be like them hiring Alan Carr to be the mole on Subversion or something like that.
Yes.
And I would love it.
Yeah.
But I think having Taylor as a player to kind of direct how the game flows makes more sense than a mole.
So just based on experience, I don't think Taylor's the mole, and I also don't think, based on their experience, that they're not going to do at least pretty well and make it pretty far as a player.
Yeah, because I should preface, Taylor has no mole experience. His experience is completely in social strategy games, and he has 2 original games, Dilemma and The Greenhouse, that he hosts, but nothing is even remotely close to the mole. So this was really fun to see when his app came in to like, let me get your perspective on the game because you are a fellow producer, but of something completely different. So yeah, Taylor's a hoot. Go watch Taylor in any live game he's in. He's kind of the focal. He's the center point. He's the attentions. Like, he's everything. He's the moment. So,
But now you have Jabbar. What are you gonna do about that?
Has mole experience. Obviously, has played online. He played Subversion Online Season 3. Now he's here for live Season 3, and he's played other mole games as well. So he's probably the most experienced player coming in, without a doubt.
The only one with Subversion experience.
He is the only one with Subversion experience.
Jabbar is just a character in every game. He has so much fun. I've seen Jabbar as a trader. I've seen Jabbar as not a trader. I've seen him as like, he is so unassuming, and he builds such strong relationships with people where how he gets far is those people don't want to break trust. So it'll be interesting to be in a game where you aren't voting people out, but you are losing based off of quiz scores. It'll be really interesting to see how he plays that side of the social world.
I want Jabbar to be the mole so bad. Oh my gosh, it would be so fun to watch. And I feel like he would do a great job. But would they pick him considering he's the only one that has Subversion experience and he has mole experience? But I want to see that Subversion season. I would love that.
Jabbar is a rootable mole.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. Like, if Jabbar reveals as the mole, we're applauding, we're on our feet. It's a good time. It's a good season.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely, I know Jabbar's played a lot of things. I very rarely actually spectated Jabbar, but I have heard Jabbar's takes on other games and been in like channels and like interacted with Jabbar as another a fellow viewer, Jabbar has good takes. Jabbar has good reads. Jabbar can read a room and can clock a lot of shit. Like Jabbar sees things. I'm sure that's going to allow him to go far in this.
Yeah, I love Jabbar. I think he's either the first boot, the mole, or the winner.
I love
And
that.
so I'm curious to see if that prediction's right, but I do hope that he ends up being the mole.
Let's get to Sterling. She's got no mole experience, but she's heavily she's into the social strategy game. She's pretty new onto the scene. Like I think she started orging like more so in our sphere like 2 years ago and has been like in the sphere ever since. She's been playing orgs far longer before she came in our realm of knowledge. But like if you're like in the org community, like Sterling is someone who is like pretty prevalent. So I think a few of y'all have met her.
Anthony and I played a Survivor org with Sterling last year. And so I have some thoughts about Sterling. None of them really negative. I think Sterling has natural aura about her. I think Sterling's real power is that you want to be liked by Sterling. Like you don't want to be on, like people don't want to be on Sterling's bad side. And so to get that validation, I think people will naturally just trust her. She's really good at making you feel comfortable. And she's also a pretty good liar. That's my take on
All
Sterling.
great mole traits.
Mm.
All of them are fabulous mole traits. I think coming into it, people know of you, but you've not played a live game before. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
Right.
don't think she's played one.
They would have assumptions about you, but then you can pretty much play it however you want in person. So I'm suspect. I will be so sad if Sterling is eliminated early because I think this is going to be another huge DR Queen of the season. Like I want your takes on everything that happens.
Sterling is great. Yeah, I think she's like has one of the best strategic minds coming into it. She's got such a good like head on her shoulders in terms of how to get to where she wants to go, but also be social, but also be cutthroat. She has such an aura about her, and I think she mentions in the cast reveal that comes off naturally suspicious, which I agree with. But I also think that can be used as like a deterrent at the same time. Like, oh, Sterling would be such an obvious choice. It's probably not going to be Sterling, and so because of that, like double bluff, she's also pretty high on my list too.
Yeah, this slide is like before we even started doing mole considerations, because again, people have to opt into being the mole. Like we sent out a survey saying, "Are you even interested?" So like even before we even started that process, like these three were like atop my list of like these are winner contenders. Like these are people who like in their interview solely based on their interview have a mind for this game and have that special je ne sais quoi that's like you have something. Obviously, I mean, 3 of the 4 people on here can say that like being there in the experience, being there live is completely different than an interview space, and like your mind gets wrapped up in many different things in many different ways. So like an interview only can go so far. But yeah, these 3, this is an incredible slide of strategic masterminds, and I'd be scared walking in to see any of these 3 in any game I play. But that brings us to the end of our 15 people. So now I hand it
That's
over
it.
to y'all. This is the cast. It's now your time to tell me who's the mole and who's your winner. Again, there's no stakes on this outside of if you care to have stakes on this.
Well, I got a dip, so I will give it real
Yes.
quick. Thanks for having me. But I think
Of
my
course.
winner pick is going to be Ian, and my mole pick is going to be Sterling.
Ooh, love it, love it.
I'm going to say Sterling is my winner pick. And my mole pick is Liz. I'm trying not to be gaslit by anything that any of y'all said. Sterling winner, Liz mole.
Okay. I think my winner pick is Liz, actually. I think they got a good strat. And my mole pick is going to be Jabbar.
I almost picked Jabbar.
Okay. I'm gonna say my mole pick. I was gonna say Sterling too, but I'm gonna put Sterling as my second choice. I think I'm gonna. No, I know what happened to me last time I did this. Hold on. No, my heart. No, my true. No, hold on. You're not gonna get me again. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna pick someone else, and you're gonna see first out. I want to say Michaela so badly, but it's not Michaela. I think it's Sterling. The most Sterling. And who could win this? I think. I don't know who's gonna win this. Honestly, I think Cooper's gonna win this. I think a villain's gonna win.
You heard it here.
Well, now
win
you
this.
can't edit any of that out. So.
Hashtag
doesn't make any
unrootable
sense.
mole.
Watch the
Hashtag
edit just be
unrootable
marked
winner.
like every third word, just that. It's not.
Well, this is
Sterling
an
Mole,
absolute.
Cooper winner. Yeah.
Wow, this was an absolute joy because obviously I know all the outcomes and what happened, so it's just fun hearing y'all said a lot of things that do happen to be true. You also happen to say a lot of things that happen to be completely wrong. But it'll be fun to see as it all goes down because again, you're basing it off of like a 3-minute spliced cast reveal. So thanks so much for doing this for Butler, for Anthony, for Kari, for Mark. This is an absolute joy. I've been laughing on mute for most of this time because y'all were so hysterical. The first episode premieres on the 14th, so a week from when you're viewing this at 9 p.m. Eastern, and will be every week up until the finale, I think. Except for the finale. The finale will be on a Saturday, just like we did for season 2, because there is a finale party in Boston that weekend. I know everyone's going to start pulling out the detective goggles for the Boston of it all because there's a meta but for the finale party. But we'll do the finale on that Saturday, so the cast can be together and watch it live and see who wins because no one knows who won. But for everyone who is here, this was an absolute blast, and I'm gonna peace on out. Bye, everyone.